What up, this your boy Justin Jones.
And Courtney.
And look, today's video is going to be on how we were able to successfully pay off $51,000 in student loan debt. Check it out. The first step that we decided to, we had to go back in time and we had to think, okay, when we first decided to start attacking debt, what did we have to do? And the first thing that we had to do was come up with a strategic plan. Communication was very important with us because we had to both be on one accord when it came to attacking our debt. I mean, aggressively and strategically. I wouldn't have been able to do this with Courtney being on my side if we didn't communicate.
Absolutely. When Justin first told me that he was going to pay off his student debt, and that meant a lot of changes, I was 100% on board. I don't believe in owing someone for the rest of your life. And so I agreed, and I know student loans right now is a huge problem right now in our country, as we are trillions of dollars in debt just on student debt alone. And so I thought that this is a great way, and I thought it was a wonderful way for us to accomplish that. So, and I knew it was going to be a huge stretch.
Yeah, and just looking at it, after we decided that we both were going to agree and start attacking my debt strategically, we decided that we had to first start our steps in looking at how much we were making as compared to how much was leaving, our income to expense ratio. And while we had been able to save up a few dollars after each expense was paid for, while we had a few dollars that we could save up when we first started to do it, those few little dollars that we were able to save up, we were putting them towards loans. And I'll show you those numbers soon. And so you first have to come up with that plan. Make sure that you've got enough income coming in so that you're able to put it away and aggressively attack debt. The second thing that we decided to do was we had to start living more frugal than we were used to living, right? And I had already started, I've been a saver since I've been a kid. It's just something that God placed in my heart, and I felt like ever since I was a little child that I could remember being, able to have money in my pocket, in my wallet, maybe elementary. I've just been able to be an extremely good saver. My parents will tell you to this day, I was saving old birthday checks and just not even putting them in the bank because at the time it didn't even register in my head that you need to put this in the bank because you're messing up someone's records. And so I started to just save checks, I saved cash, I saved Christmas money, I saved birth. I've always lived frugally, and so being married after having finished school, I had to continue to live frugal came very easy for me, and Courtney can attest to that as well.
When I first met Justin, he shopped at the dollar store and got a dollar store toilet paper, and I'm like, what is this? It's so thin. But that's the one part that I absolutely love and adore about him, is that he is very frugal, and it has taught me as well how to reflect that behavior to be frugal as well. And so I'm not one to, you see, I don't have any lashes, I don't do my nails, I don't have my nails done, but I'm not one to go out to do that. It's not a huge need for me. It's not going to make me or break me. And so I had to eliminate things in my life that to help us to be more frugal so we can really aggressively attack those student loans. And so one of the things is I eliminated getting my nails done, eliminated pampering things. I have nail polish at home. I can polish my own nails if I really needed to be polished, rather than giving someone $20, $50 every other week to go get my nails and toes done. And so that's one thing that we did. We also eliminated eating out every single night. Now, some nights we could not help it, but the nights that we did, in the very beginning, we did meal preps. And so that really helped us save a lot of money. And then occasionally we'll go out to eat, but not that much. And then I would try to cook. If I couldn't cook, Pastor Jefferson would cook. And so this really helped us a lot trying to accomplish debt in that way as well. And then like around the holidays, you know, our family expects a gift from us every holiday. I don't know if your family is the same. And so during a certain time, so we would kind of put the hold on hold for a little bit, and so we can, you know, spend money for our family for Christmas. But we always want to make sure that they had something, and make sure our daughter was taken care of and satisfied. And it really helps that both of us work, and that the money that comes in, we have a good amount to where like we can save up a lot of money. And so it helps us out a lot, because we could put, like, you know, half towards Christmas gifts and the other half towards everything else. And so another thing that we really focused on was our living style. So when we first moved to Texas back in 2017, we would live with my father for about 6 months. During that time, we aggressively paid off again loans, and literally a huge chunk amount of our income went there. But it came to a certain time where we needed our own home. Not only were we able to, again, attack his loans, but we also were able to save up enough money to put down a good down payment on this house and move in. And now, even with our mortgage payment, because we chose a house that we knew that God had wanted us to be in, because of the payment, the location is awesome. And so so even after we moved in, our house payment wasn't over $2,000 a month. This is under that. And so the fact that we could still aggressively pay off his student debt, pay off house bills, which is not that much at all, especially if you are working towards owning a home. And so again, we were still able to aggressively do that.
The third thing on the list is being able to bring in extra income if you have to. Look, if your income to expense ratio is not where it needs to be, and you have more expenses than income coming in, then obviously you will not be able to put away to aggressively attack debt. So what you're going to have to do is find another source of income. Courtney and I never had to do that because of how frugal we lived, and because of how great God has been in our lives and blessing us with wonderful careers to where we could comfortably put away money to aggressively attack debt. But don't get me wrong, I have had that hustle spirit inside of me for a long time. And I've been doing things to provide additional streams of income for myself for as long as I can remember. And so while I didn't necessarily have to, I did have one side hustle that I decided to do for about 6 months. And I decided to do Lyft. When I first did it, I was extremely scared, and I didn't know how much money it would actually bring in. And for about 6 months, being in the car that I had, I made about $6,000. Half of it went to gas. That's how I like to explain it. So it was decent money, but it helped. It gave us the opportunity to spend where we wanted to spend. But for those that don't have the luxury of having wonderful careers, you have to go out and find that additional source of income so that you can put that money away into your loans.
Or change your lifestyle. And so, like I said, one of the things we did was that we changed our lifestyle. Even when we first got married, we really wasn't huge spenders. And so it really wasn't hard for both of us to come to the decision that we wanted to live frugally and live below our means. And so that was kind of what we initiated in the very beginning. But say for instance, you have like, so we don't have a car payment. Both of us have really old cars. We're not ashamed. But it was the sacrifices that we needed to ensure that we paid off that debt. Of course, we could have got up and got a new car, but that wasn't our priority. A lot of people, as soon as they got to college, they get a new car. I don't know why we do that, but we do. But that's not something that we wanted to do. We wanted to aggressively attack these loans, and thank God that we never had any major problems with our car over $1,000, and so that has been a huge blessing that we can definitely thank God for. And so one of the things now is just making sure that we're on the right track, we're on the right steps. And so now that we have aggressively paid off Justin's debt, now we're looking forward to getting a new car. And so because this has taught us to be the lender, not the borrower, we are now focusing on owning our car, and so paying in straight cash, saving up money. By the end of this year, we should have a new car, and we will definitely post that sometime in like maybe November, December, when we get our new car. And so it's going to be super exciting, and we are going to be very happy about that. In addition, there are some few things that we want to remodel in the house, which will probably be a 2021 job, but it's always something that we are looking to, like, we wanted to always do, but we couldn't do because we had something that was holding us back. And so we're excited about that. I also have student debt, but I'm working on the student loan forgiveness program because I work for a government position, and so I'm able to pay off my loans in that way.
The fourth step is you have to just go and start doing it. Now, I want to show you all of the history of where my loans started from and where they finished. And as you will see, that interest started accruing as soon as I went to go take out that loan. I had no idea. I was a very naive 18-year-old. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just knew that I needed to get in school, and I didn't know much about financial aid. And so as you're looking at these statements, you'll start to realize that I didn't have the very best way of going about taking out loans. I should have just tried to at least pay ahead of time without taking out the loans, but I didn't. And so as you can see in this history statement, I am all over the place. As far as the payments go, you noticed my first payment was made in 2016 in October, and that was for the amount that you see on the screen. And so it's crazy because when I made that payment, I thought I was doing something. I thought I was killing it when I made that payment. But when I made that payment, I felt like it didn't even make a dent in the total amount. Yeah, it made a dent, as far as, every $1,000 goes, but it didn't make a dent as far as the total numbers go. And so it was crazy because I was like, man, if I'm putting this much towards my student loans and it's not even chopping away at the total number, it's going to take me forever to pay off these loans. And so I kept my head high. I looked at my wife and I was like, we can still do this. Don't give up. It's all right. We're gonna pay these things off one day. And sure enough, that day has come and we are completely student debt free as far as my student debt goes. And I'm just so excited. As you continue to look at the history, you'll notice I started to make those changes in the way I went about paying off my loans. I found myself putting myself in a forbearance and deferment. So as you can see in the history, you see I started paying these smaller chunks because I put myself on this income repayment plan. But then you start to notice I started to attack it more aggressively. Something went off in my mind and I'm like, no, I can't continue to put this off. Because while money was coming in for us, it was in my best interest to start to pay these loans off. We started to pay off our debt when we were making a total of under $60,000. You remember the exact number?
In total, we were making $50,000. I was a grad assistant. I was still in graduate school, and Jefton was working at like a dental company. He was a program developer, and so he was making $40,000 a year. So in total, we were making about $50,000.
So we were making $50,000, and at that time, we were still living on campus, not campus properties, but like campus apartments?
No, we stayed in regular apartments, but it was close to a campus.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that. And so the cost of living wasn't expensive at all, and the cost of eating out wasn't expensive at all because there was nothing around us. All we had was one another and our expenses. And so we used that opportunity to take all the extra funds that we were receiving and put them towards my loans, as you can see. And so I got to thinking, I was like, okay, we're making this amount, we're paying this amount, but then life happened. And as you can see, we started to slow down just a tiny bit in how much we were putting towards my student loans, because it was almost like an addiction. I was starting to, get a big, large sum of money, and we had been saving, and money was coming in, and it was like, yes, I get to put $3,000 on my student loans. I get to put $4,000. And so it almost, because I was starting to see that total number get smaller, and that was taking burdens off of my shoulders, and it was a beautiful thing. And I'm just so ecstatic that we can make it to this point today. We worked so hard for this, you all. This was something that we had to sacrifice a lot of things. We took a lot of scrutiny for this too, even just from our peers, even friends and family at time. They look at us like we were the cheap couple. And to be honest, Courtney and I, we love nice things. We love nice things. Both of us
grew up spoiled, and our parents spoiled us. So yes, we do like a nice thing.
Yeah, it's crazy because we love having nice things, but to put that on hold just for the time being was, it was magnificent, because if you're in a relationship, that's why the first step is so important. You have to communicate. You have to strategically plan with your loved one how you're going to attack this debt, because it's not going to be easy. And to the human brain, it's like, how can one possibly wait for this many years to finally pay off our loans? But guess what? The vast majority of the world, like Courtney mentioned earlier, trillions of dollars in debt. And so it's one of those things where some people wait longer than others, but Courtney and I decided to pay this thing off faster than most because we didn't want that burden on our shoulders.
No. And like I said, and now it's moving us onward and forward to better things in our life. Now we can really enjoy great things and know not to be in debt. So if you go to the store, a furniture store, and you have an allocated budget, you can only spend $500, and you see something and it's $700, they say it's okay, you can get you a credit card, it's all right, you can get you some, a store credit card. Don't do it. It is not worth it. Go ahead and get your little $500 couch, because in the next few years, then you'll be able to afford a $1,500 couch, because you waited, you saved your money. You didn't, not only did you not purchase anything with credit, you didn't have, it was no interest added with that. You didn't feel like, you have to put money towards something each month, but stay within your budget. Have self-discipline, have self-control on how you spend your money. You earned it, you spend it the way you need to by being responsible.
Yes. So these have been our 4 steps for how to get out of debt and how to pay off $50,000. Ours was 51, but how to pay off $50,000 in 3 years or less. So we love you all. We hope that this video helped you all, and you too can clear up your debt and take that stress off your shoulders if you start today.